the video that everybody's been waiting for. My new in-depth analysis of the new theory about the Skyrim gods being dragons. Well, in Emblem 1 talks about how before man, dragons ruled the whole world, and only they were able to talk with their voice, or Thum. So, which leads into Emblem 2, about how the birth of man came about, and they didn't have no voice. They were weak compared to the dragons. So the dragons took advantage of that and used their voice and ruled over man, which what we'll cover later on about the dragon cults and the dragon priests for the smoking gun on my new evidence. Then comes Emblem 3, where man got tired of being ruled by the dragon priests and the dragons, or so-called gods, so they tried to rebel. But around that time, like I said, they didn't have any power to use against them. And so many losses were carried over by the humans, which leads to Emblem 4. When I first read it, I thought Kain was just a mortal, but then it's like it didn't make sense, because why would a dragon take orders from a mortal? But then I realized that Kain was also Kinnereth for Cyrodiil. So if Kain was also Kinnereth, then Kain must be another dragon. And Parthenax was also Elduin's brother, who was also Elduin's lieutenant, who served under him. So, if Kain and Parthenax knew the voice, and they taught man how to shout or use the Thum, then in theory, Kain must be a dragon. Emblem 5 pretty much talks about how after Kain and Parthenax taught man how to use the Thum, they overcame Elduin and sent him to another time break, or a dragon break, as they called it, and so forth. Emblem 6, pretty much after the battle of the dragons, what I believe were the 8 dragons that were on mankind's side disappeared, and mankind worshipped them as their gods for their help. So, because they helped mankind beat Elduin, they feel obligated to worship them, even though they had disappeared. Emblems 9 and 10 were pretty much about Tiber Septim being the Dragonborn after the 3 that sent Elduin to another time period. Coming up in this next clip, it just pretty much states and listen to Arngir say that Akatosh, the chief dragon god, gave man the ability to use the Thum. And if Akatosh was a dragon who gave man the ability to shout. Then Kain and Parthenax are dragons who taught man how to use the shout. This video right here is during the Atmora age, where the dragon cult moved into Skyrim from Solstheim and spread throughout the whole region. And where I'm about to go now is just north of High Hrothgar, on top of the mountain, which is known as Throat of the World, is where you would find Parthenax later on in the game. But because Parthenax did not want to overcome his instinct of his lust for power, he stayed isolated. But the crazy part is the Greybeards even stated that the Throat of the World is Kinnereth's sacred mountain. So if Kinnereth's sacred mountain was a dragon, that would explain why Parthenax enjoyed the isolation up there. Pretty soon we're going to go into the family tree of the gods, so-called gods, but I think it's just dragons. Like, you have the chief god Akatosh, who is married to Mara. So if Akatosh was married to Mara, Mara must be a dragon as well, who in terms, after man was born, then the birth of RK came about, because before man, RK was not around. And supposedly some origin stories state that RK is the son of Akatosh. Now Kinnereth is also Kain. Kain was married to Shor, who was also had a bedwife with Dibella as well. So if Kain was a dragon, Shor was a dragon, because they were married, and then Dibella must be a dragon because she was the bedwife of Shor. I understand it's all extremely confusing if you look at it. And then Stendarr, who after post-Alesia was actually the Nordic god Stune, and Julianos was the Nordic god of Junal, and both of them were supposedly dragons. Post-Alesia, around First Era 242, Alesia became the High Empress of the Tamriel, because of the fact she united two religions together, the Admeri Dominion and the Nordic Pantheon, and created the new Eight Divine Pantheon. So Stune became Stendarr, Junal became Julianos, and then you had the Admeri Dominion god Zenithar. The Smoking Gun. These 7 gods were the original ancient dragon cult gods, and even though they were worshipped as animal gods, the dragon cult only worshipped dragons.